How's it going, everyone? This is Trixx from Meta Smash, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to edgeguard with Mythra. This is going to be an in-depth guide on hitbox launch angles, Mythra's offstage limitations, and character-specific edgeguards. And before we get into it, I want to mention that if you are new to the Meta Smash channel, this is day number 7 of our daily Pyra and Mythra guides all throughout March. There are still 19 more guides on the way. The sole purpose of going off stage and attempting an edgeguard is to try and accomplish one of two things. Either knock your opponent into the blast zone to get a KO off the side, or to try and drain them of their resources and gimping them so they can't recover to the stage. So for the purpose of edgeguarding, we want to use attacks that are going to send our opponent as far and as low as possible. Forcing your opponent low and far from the stage makes it incredibly difficult for them to recover. And if you happen to catch an air dodge or take their jump, there's a very strong chance that you're also going to take their stock. Now that we understand the basics of hitbox properties and what we're trying to accomplish once we have our opponent off stage, let's talk about Mythra's offstage limitations. Or to put it more simply, how many attacks can Mythra throw off stage before she has to recover? Knowing your character's limitations and keeping yourself safe should always be your main priority. When it comes to going off stage, both forward air and down air are going to be your most consistently used aerials, and we should know how to use them and recover safely. Forward air is a little bit more flexible, but for down air, if you happen to use one down air and then your double jump in any sort of combination, you will never be able to recover, provided that you try and throw out 3 down airs. If you want to use 3 down airs, you must full hop, do 2 down airs, use your double jump, a 3rd down air, and then recover. Mythra has the ability to throw out 3 back airs and only 2 neutral airs. If you try and throw out 4 of any kind of aerial, you will not be able to recover. When extending off stage, you can only hold forward for your first full hop. If you try and overextend and hold forward for your double jump, then you're going to SD. If you want to use 3 aerials off stage, you have to start retreating during your double jump. For flexibility's sake, I only suggest doing this with forward air. You can use Lightning Buster to put out a flurry of attacks to catch your opponent recovering. However, you will never be able to fully charge Lightning Buster and recover no matter how you jump off stage. It doesn't matter if you use a full hop or a double jump, you will never make it back. For your safest chance to recover, you're going to want to charge your Lightning Buster just until your feet pass the edge of the stage. As long as you release your charge by this point, you should be able to recover safely. You can also do a slight charged Lightning Buster out of a double jump, but you have to release the attack even sooner. You also have the ability to start your double jump below the ledge and still release the attack above the ledge. Although Photon Edge is not typically used for edge guarding, it is good to know its limitations. For example, if you stand at the exact edge of the stage, you will fall off. However, if you stand at get up attack range, you can stop yourself from falling off the stage. You can use the projectile portion of Chroma Dust and Ray of Punishment to shoot down at your opponent. However, the launch angle is quite high, so I only suggest doing this at low percent to go for a gimp. And lastly, you can hang from the ledge and turn around your up special for a more easily timed projectile. Now let's take everything that we've learned about launch angles and our character's limitations and apply them versus another character. It's important to recognize that of course not every character's recovery is the same, and so we have to deal with each situation uniquely. Although it is always fun to style on our opponent, the point of edgeguarding is efficiency and of course to try and take stocks as early as we possibly can while staying safe ourselves. Priority number 1 is to make sure that we can recover. Priority number 2 is to make sure that our opponents cannot. When we're going off stage, we have to try our best to be aware of our opponent's character's options. Before we go off stage, we have to ask ourselves, do they still have their jump? Do they have multiple jumps? Do they have specials that aid them in their recovery? Do they have super armor on their recovery? Do they have a very fast recovery like Game & Watch or Lucina? Do they have the ability to recover from very deep like Sonic or Pit? Do they have a very strong horizontal recovery? Do they have a tether recovery like Byleth or Joker? Or do they have the ability to mix you up with multiple jumps or multiple specials? Characters like Inkling and Pikachu are incredibly hard to edgeguard because they have so many options and so many different angles that they can take to make it back to the stage. If you are going to attempt to try and edgeguard these characters, you're most definitely going to want to make sure that your attack is going to kill. Also, fast recoveries have the ability to get in between the hits of Lightning Buster. This is important to remember. It's not impossible to catch them, but just know that it is a possibility that they could slip by. It's also important to know where your hitboxes are in relation to your opponent's trajectory when they're recovering. In some cases, a hitbox that hits below you can get the job done, where a horizontal hitbox that hits beside you can't. And finally, I wanted to end off with some live examples of what your edge guards might look like. Alongside knowing your hitbox's launch angles, your character's limitations offstage, and character-specific recoveries, you must also take into consideration your opponent's percent. Can I edgeguard my opponent with just one hit? Do I have to recover and go for multiple edgeguards? Or is the risk of going off stage and getting reversed worth going off stage at all? Ultimately, edgeguarding is an art form that is ever-changing. You will constantly need to read and adapt to your opponent's habits and play each situation uniquely. With practice, you will ultimately learn when to go off stage aggressively, when to play passively, or when you will have to go off stage multiple times to exhaust your opponent's resources. Once you've mastered edgeguarding with Mythra and your confidence grows in your ability to go off stage, you'll be taking stocks incredibly early. And with that, that's going to wrap up day number 7 of our daily guides all throughout March. If you do appreciate all of the love and effort that go into these guides, please consider subscribing. And once again, this is Trixx from Meta Smash saying thanks for watching the video.